Hey, it's your guy Tyrrell back with the interviews. Can Saudi Arabia get out of Group A? If so, how will they get the goals and how will they keep the ball out of the net? Don't worry, here at the interviews, we've got you covered for the World Cup. So on this edition of the interviews, I'm going to briefly break down whether Saudi Arabia will get out of Group A. So when we talk about Saudi Arabia, we're talking about the lowest ranked team heading into the World Cup. Can they shock the world and finish top of Group A or possibly finish in second? Or will they meet expectation and disappoint and possibly finish at the bottom of the group? This is a great opportunity for them to get the job done because of who is in their group and the fact that they play the second lowest ranked team, the host, Russia, in the first game in the tournament. Win that game and you always have a chance. But with that being said, what are their strengths? What are their weaknesses? How are they going to put themselves in a position to get out of the group? We look at the board. Saudi Arabia, most likely to line up in a 4-2-3-1. That's the base shape they've been playing throughout the tournament. They have played a 4-3-3. That was against Belgium in a friendly. That didn't go well for them. So they'll probably stick to the 4-2-3-1. We have to look at the attack because we question how they're going to score goals. We look at them up front. Al-Salawi leading the line. Just in behind him, Al-Shehri, who is the catalyst of the side. On the flanks, we expect Al-Dasari and Al-Yassim to play out wide. In midfield, it looks like it's going to be Al-Faraj and Otaif in the center of the pitch, sitting deep, looking to protect the backline because against Belgium, that didn't happen. They did play the 4-3-3, but they struggled in the middle of the park. They were exposed in between the lines. Mertens, Hazard were able to get into that space, Lukaku as well, and they couldn't stop the counterattack led by Kevin De Bruyne. Luckily for them, they're not going to play a team as talented as Belgium yet. You can argue that Uruguay's up there, but they're not going to play them in the first group stage games or throughout that group, so that is key for them. And here you just have to question, how are they going to get goals? You have to start there because that is the root of the problem with this Saudi Arabian side. Yes, they do score goals, but can they score enough to get out of the group? You have to start with who's playing up front. That's Al-Salawi. He's not your natural center forward. He likes to drop deep. He doesn't really make runs into the channels. He doesn't run in behind. He's not that great with his back to goal, but he's looking to link up play. He's looking to get the ball and invite runners in behind him. That's where Al-Dasari comes into play. That's where Al-Yassim come into play. That's where Al-Shehri comes into play. Sometimes you see Al-Shehri on the same line as Al-Salawi looking to break him behind, and that could be pivotal, but they need him to be at his utmost best if that's going to work, because when you look at the Saudi Arabian shape, the wide players are very narrow, and that encourages the fullbacks to get forward for the width. They're able to retain possession, they're able to find each other in these pockets of spaces, but they need runners in behind. They don't get that often, and that could be a problem. And with that being said, they get width from their fullbacks, who should be Al-Harbi coming down the left and Al-Shirani coming down the right. They do like to push forward from fullback, and they are great crossers of the ball, and they can't combine well with the wide players, so they are a threat. The problem is the space in the channels. And when you look at the teams that are in this group, each single one of them will punish you. Russia with Smolov, Uruguay with Cavani and Suarez breaking into that space, and Egypt with Mo Salah. And you don't want any of those players running at the center back pairing of the Hassawis because they will make them pay. And that could force the deep lying midfielders to drop off and possibly cover that space if they're going to get those wider players forward and possibly defend in more of a box shape to ensure that they aren't harmed in that area. Because when we look at Saudi Arabia's issues, it's the space, defensive issues, it's the space in those areas, and the fact that the center backs aren't as good as they should be for a team playing at this level, and that could be a problem. So with that being said, you have to look to their key player, and that is Al-Shehri. His tactical intelligence is very good for a player on this side. It's actually out through the roofs. He can break him behind when he joins in. joins in the attack. He can move out to the flanks and get on the ball. He could drop a bit deeper, pick up the ball, and look to launch passes. He does it all, and everything is going to be running through him. And opposing sides are going to be looking to nullify him and limit his time on the ball, or have someone man mark him, because if you shut him down, there's a great chance that you stop anything that the Saudi Arabian side is going to be doing going forward. With that being said, can they play on the counterattack? Can they sit deep? Can they launch counterattacks? Well, he's going to be the key guy. When they win the ball, you're going to look for him moving out into the channels, looking to pockets of spaces to get on the ball, and looking to launch the wide players into attack. That's the only way you could really see them getting forward in that sense. We don't know if they could sit deep and stop space from going in between the lines, because of what we've seen so far. That hasn't been the case, and they're gonna need to do better closing down players in wide areas, because crosses into the box aren't a guarantee either. This Saudi Arabian side, they don't want to be spending a lot of time without the ball, because they can be breached if Pizzi does not have them disciplined. You expect them to possibly play a bit deeper than usual, especially against Uruguay, but for the most part, they're gonna have to find an answer without the ball, or if not, they're gonna be in big danger. But when you look at up front, you have to think, if Al Salawi isn't getting things going up front, who can they turn to? Well, they have a great option off the bench in Al Muwallad. You think that perhaps he could start for this side if things aren't going right for them in that first game, because he offers everything that Al Salawi does not. He could run in behind, and he aims to run in behind. He could drift off to the flanks. He could run at defenders. He has the trickery. He has the pace. He has an eye for goal, something that Al Salawi haven't seen on a consistent basis, and he could be the difference maker here. They also have Al Abed, who they could bring off the bench, but he does offer the same things that Al Yassim and Al Dasari do offer in terms of playing a bit narrow, looking to poke and slide defenders in behind, or himself making those late runs into the box just in behind the defense. But when we look at things as a whole and we think about Saudi Arabia, the group is there for them. At least second is there for the taking. Egypt, we don't know if they're going to be able to put things together. Do they have another goal threat besides Mo Salah? Russia, if they don't get Smolov going, how do they get goals as well? We think about this side. There are goals there. They have attacking options, but they need to shore up the defense. That's one thing. They need the fullbacks to stay deeper when they don't have the ball. They can't get caught. Both of them higher up the pitch. One has to go, one has to stay, one has to stay, one has to go. We look at the midfield. If they could get Al Shehri in spaces to get on the ball and have him dictate the game, that is pivotal. And what about up front? If Al Salawi isn't getting runners in behind the defense, or himself making those runs, will Juan Antonio Pizzi summon Al Muwallad to go out there and possibly get him a goal? They've had 3 managers in under 12 months. This is their first World Cup appearance in 2006, and Saudi Arabia shouldn't be overlooked in this group, but they have to get off to a good start. Win that first game, and it's theirs for the taking. Don't win it, and it may be a rough 3 games for them. With that being said, let me know what you guys think. Meet me in the comments below. Don't forget I upload videos every day, and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. And that was your daily dose of the interviews.